I'm going to start off this film review talking about the Kuleshov effect. The Kuleshov effect takes its name from Lev Kuleshov, an influential filmmaker in the mid-20th century Soviet Union, who illustrated it. Kuleshov shot a single long close-up of an actor named Mazhukin, sitting still without expression. Then, Kuleshov intercut it with various shots of the exact context of which he forgot in his later years, but which comprised of a bowl of soup, a woman in a coffin, and women. The audience marveled at the sensitivity of the actor's range. Kuleshov's own account, though, describes only two scenes, one in which a jailed man is shown an open cell door, and one in which a starving man is shown a bowl of soup. Kuleshov switched the shots so the starving man saw the open door and the prisoner looked at the soup, and there was no noticeable difference. The essence of the Kuleshov effect is filling in the blanks or connecting the dots. Mazhukin isn't actually looking at anything. He probably doesn't even know what they'll make him look at, so he can't possibly be reacting to it. He expresses no emotion, so an audience cannot possibly see the emotion on his face, but the audience does. The viewer is presented with a situation or environment along with the academic fact that someone is experiencing it. He cannot simply accept the actor's evident emotion as none is given, so he decides what the appropriate response would be and assigns it to the actor. The viewer doesn't realize the reaction is in his own mind. He assumes the actor shows it, but can't see just how. So it seems like an almost magical projection of a feeling by a brilliant actor. The Kuleshov effect is almost everywhere we look in 2001: A Space Odyssey, and most importantly, it is in heavy use in the case of Hal. By all accounts, Hal displays a broader spectrum of emotions than any human being in the film, but Hal has no face at all. He is a computer. His voice is flat and monotonous just as it is programmed to be. His eyes are set in motionless panels that function only as a reminder of his presence, not as mirrors of his soul. He has absolutely no mechanism for emotional expression, none but one, that is, Hal is utterly reliant on the Kuleshov effect to make his feelings plain. The fact that his range of expression seems so great is a testimony to Kubrick's skill in using the effect. Hal shows pride in his record right from the beginning, accompanied by complete confidence in his own infallibility and that he has never made an error. Throughout the film, Hal is shown as a red camera lens with a fisheye view. One moment where Hal seems to show some emotion is when he asks the astronaut Dave about his sketches, which shows Hal's curiosity. Hal also has a lot of genuine affection for both astronauts and feels as though he is another member of their team. He quickly assumes a fussy, matronly persona, keeping an eye on his crewmates, people that he clearly considers his intellectual juniors. In the film, there becomes a problem where Hal reports that something is broken. The astronauts remove the broken part to check to see what is wrong, but everything looks normal. Hal has never made an error before, so the astronauts are very confused about the situation. Since Hal is a computer, he is always listening to the astronauts. So in order for the astronauts to discuss their concerns about Hal and the mistake that he made, they needed to go somewhere that Hal would not be able to hear them. This gives Hal even more of a persona, as though his feelings might get hurt if he hears them talking about his mistake. The astronauts went into a pod and made sure that Hal could not hear them, although Hal could still see them and their lips moving. As Hal watches the astronauts conference in the pod, we only have a red light on a panel from which to read his emotions, but we still derive shock, anger, betrayal, and malevolence from the computer. This is the true heart and soul of the Kuleshov effect, when we are shown no explicit emotion, but we infer it. But in order to do that, we are forced to experience the circumstances and feel the emotion ourselves. This is why the Kuleshov effect can generate such a strong reaction. It's why 2001 is such a powerful experience.